over there.
We are live.
Well. If anyone else like us, we had a lot of snow today. So if hopefully you guys are all safe out there.
Yeah, I know. I mean, the snow has been going since last week. Like, I know above you, up like Ashtabula to like Buffalo, they were just getting absolutely hammered. So I'm not really surprised you guys got it. It's just started down here this afternoon.
Yeah.
So it's supposed to snow all night though.
Well,
so how's everybody doing out there? We got people joining now.
All right.
So I'm starting out sipping a little Elmer T. Lee before we get into our Bardstown Origin series. We're going to sample those. And Devin, you have some kind of little advent calendar or something you're doing, aren't you?
So my lovely wife Anna, she was like, you know what? You want an advent calendar for December? I was like, well, yeah, of course. So she made me one, and she said, well, I'll open up some bottles and do like a cool little blind for every day. And I'm like, well, I'm just gonna have to guess what they are each day. So the first day it was Michter's 10 rye.
Sandy.
The second day was, I think, a Yellowstone pick or something like that, or a Wilderness Trail. And then today is I'm catching up for 3, 4, and 5. Is today the 6th too, or is it the 5th?
Today's the 5th.
So I have to stop at 5. So I'll go on the 6th tomorrow. But yeah, I got to catch up on these last 3 days or whatever's worth of bourbon or whatnot. So I'm gonna see how this one is.
All right. Well, let us know what you think of it, and you can reveal what it is.
Yeah. How's it going, Sandy? How's that Elmer T. Lee?
It's pretty good. You know, it's not bad. It's a nice opening sipper. I know, like, if you've had a few drinks, higher proof, and you come back to it, it's not really that good.
It's just like sweet caramel.
Yeah, like, it's much better opener. But what's everybody else out there drinking tonight? But you know, like we said in our one video, you know, it's a nice opening sipper.
Yeah.
At MSRP, it's not worth the secondary price. I wouldn't pay the secondary I see it go for.
Yeah. You know, I will say I didn't really realize how old Elmer T. Lee is. So when we went to that trace tasting, they were like 9 or 10 years old. I was like, oh, interesting. I thought they were like 7 years that were just like not Blanton's that are like in the different warehouse or something like that. I was like, oh, interesting.
Yeah, like 10 years old, 10-year-old single barrels. Yeah. Hey, Brad, good to see you. Yeah, you definitely need to pour something. David's sipping on some Winter Reserve and New Riff.
Ooh,
that's always a good pour right there.
Yeah, I was able to get the Winter Reserve this year, and I was like, well, I'll give it a try. And I don't know, we did a video on it. I thought it was pretty good. You know, for $25 for
the Jim Beam. Yeah, I actually edited that video. It's scheduled, I think, next week.
Yeah.
Tomorrow's video that's releasing is our early times black top versus blue top blind that we did. So we'll see what people think of that one.
The results might shock you. No, I don't know.
Eric got some Jephthah Creed single barrel. So I'm going to be honest. The Jephthah Creed I've had, I was not a fan of. I had like it was like a Bloody Butcher corn or something, and like a red, white, and blue, and I didn't really care for either one. So what do you think it is, Devin? Brad, the Sinatra's nice, but it's got to be your opener. You don't want to drink something high proof and come back to it, but it's really like kind of like older Jack was, like maybe back in like the 80s. It's definitely like a little deeper and a little better. I like it a lot better than the regular number 7. It doesn't have as much like youth to it. Yeah, I've got a bottle too, and it's pretty nice pour, but it is expensive.
So the reason why I want to say it's expensive, at least from when we were at Jack Daniel's, was they like carve out the barrel.
Yeah, so they do
surface area or something. I'm not sure if they leave the spiral or they carve out in the barrel or not, but
yeah, they carve grooves along the staves inside. Yeah, and so it cycles in and out more or something is the idea, like kind of like the aging faster. I don't know. Yeah. But that's really the difference, is that and kind of what they proof it down to, because it's a higher proof.
Yeah, I think they do that with the McLaren one as well. But
Yes,
I've not tried that one yet.
it's perfect for a wake up and drink starter. Absolutely, it's perfect for a wake up and drink starter.
I'm trying to figure out what this pour is here. It's a probably like a 110 proof.
Well, what's your notes on it? What's
First
the nose? What's the palate?
It has like a little like a slightly youthfulness to it, like it could be like a benchmark foolproof, maybe. I don't know, but it tastes good, but it has like a little like a youthful peppery nose to it, but it smells good in a weird way. I don't know. Oh, I'm gonna give it about another minute or so, and then I'll reveal what it is, I guess.
All right. So one of the things we're going to talk about tonight, anyway, is we're going to do the Bardstown Origin. We got this sample box of the Origin series. Devin has the actual little bottles. I just had mine, other half poured in samples. I got the box with all the explanations, though, and we're going to go through the Origin series and kind of see what we think of them. I've had a couple of these like separate. I've never tried them against each other to kind of see what I like best. So it'll be interesting to see and kind of which ones we like. Although I'll say the first thing they put in there, and I've had several tastings now where they do this, is they put their white dog in. So it's just unaged distillate, and I always hate the white dog. But yeah, there's been several distilleries we went to now where we did a tasting, and the first thing they give you is their white dog.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Like I said, I'm usually not too much of a fan of that. It's always very grainy and just rough.
Yeah. So I had some of those little like 3-liter barrels I aged. I did one with the weeded mash bill and one with the standard mash bill 1. And the weeded one just evaporated out so fast I had to pull it. I only had like this much left out of my 8 bottles I put in there. I'm like, I will never do that again with the white dog in the barrels. But yeah, it was a cool experiment, I guess. Steven
said he's never had the rye from Bardstown, the Origin. I haven't either. I have tried the black label and the white label, which is the weeder and the regular bourbon, like the rye-based bourbon. But yeah, I've never had the actual rye, which I'm going to read off the stats as we go through, but it is a 95.5. So they do a 95 rye, 5% malted barley for their rye.
All right,
what do you think you got there, Devin?
Yeah, it's bugging me. I'm like, half of me is like, now I'm like sipping on it. I'm like, is it like Four Roses or a Wild Turkey Russell's Pick or something? I'm like, I don't know. All right, here we go.
Let's reveal it. What was it?
Well, you know what I said? Weller Foolproof, or not Weller Foolproof? Benchmark
Foolproof?
Well, it was a little bit more than that. It was a Stag 23B.
So you thought the Stag was possibly a benchmark foolproof?
It got like a benchmark something to it, like that. But first pour of the night, cut me some slack, all right?
Steven, no, the high wheat, the new one is not in this sample. This was their original baseline, so it's just white dog, the weeded, the black label, the rye base, the white label, and the rye. So the new one, though, like weeded bourbon, or not weeded bourbon, but just weeded whiskey or whatever, is not in this one. I have not had that yet.
Yeah, our buddy Matt got it. He said he liked it a lot. So if you're listening, Matt, I hope you let me get a sample. I gotta try it. So
you want to get started on this, Devin, or?
Yeah, let's go.
All right, let's hit this white dog. So their white dog, their mash bill is 60% corn, 36% rye, and 4% malted barley.
Yeah.
And this is the white dog, so it is, of course, unaged. It has not seen milk.
The age on here says none. You're like, all right.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
None.
Ooh, man, it smells like white dog.
Smells like it'd be a good mixer.
Yeah.
I mean, it smells like white dog, but it's not really like offensive. I mean, it does have a little Sharpie note to it, but other than that, it's not like.
Well, it is 100 proof, so
yeah,
it is proof down to 100 proof. It's not whatever it comes off the tap at.
Yeah, that's okay. All right. Maybe they cut it down a little bit,
it's kind of a little sweet. It does have some Sharpie to it, but it's not too bad. For a white dog, it's not bad. So that's not too bad. It's kind of sweet. It's not really as grainy as I thought it might be.
Yeah.
Are all the Bardstown $99 and up? David, no, not the Origin series. So the higher priced ones are like the Discovery series and like that. The Origin series all usually run around $40 to $50. So, cheers, that bourbon guy. So yeah, the Origin series is kind of like their more shelf, like mid shelf, I guess you would say, series. Whereas the Discovery, which Devin has over to the side there, are their higher price series.
Yeah. They usually have like, I feel like they have bottles that are like $50 and then like $150. You're like, well, I need like a Okay.
And then they have some in between, like the Fusion, which are going to run like 100. So they kind of
I don't know. I haven't had the Fusion. I want to say that was like their standard one or whatnot. That was like $50 unless they raised the price on it, and then
they were closer to 100, I think.
Maybe. Anyway,
sure.
let us know if you know. But yeah, I haven't tried that one. At least I don't remember trying it.
So what do you think of their white dog, Devin?
It's drinkable, but I wouldn't go out and be like, man, I better get some of this and throw it in a barrel for a day and drink it. So.
It actually might not be a bad mixer. It is just kind of sweet.
Yeah.
It's a little bit grainy, but it's not bad overall for a white dog.
I'm trying to think what kind of cocktail you'd make with this. Just like seltzer water with lime. Like, I don't know.
I don't know. Things you could generally make with you probably pour it in something that's going to be fruity.
Yeah, like a white dog.
Something that you might use vodka in or something.
A white dog tonic, maybe. So,
all right.
Yeah.
So the next one up.
We'll move on past this one.
Yeah. The next one up is the Wheated. This is the bottled and bond. So it's 100 proof, and the mash bill is 68% corn, 20% wheat, 12% malted barley. It is 6 years old. So that's not bad. 6 years. I didn't realize it was that old, honestly.
Yeah.
That's not bad.
I think it was either the beginning of this year or end of last year is when they turned 6 years old. I think they started in 2018, I want to say. If anyone else knows, let me know. But and then they just started making their own. Before they were sourcing and then making, and then they were like contracted selling for a lot of people as well. But now they're like at that like 6 year mark where they're like, all right, we can finally start putting like our own product out. And I think that they were like going with the 8 year as like that's a good age to start with versus like doing like, no offense, Castle and Key, but like 3 year stuff, and then being like, here you go.
Yeah, Brad. No, this is not the tan label. This is the wheated bourbon, which is the black label. The tan label is like a wheated. I think that's just their wheated whiskey.
Kind of like this.
Yes. So this is the wheated bourbon mash bill. All right. Definitely get some caramel on the nose. Kind of sweet.
Yeah. Just like a sweet caramel. It smells like just like your typical standard bourbon, not one that you're like, wow, I better figure out what this is, but like your standard $40-ish bottle. I guess. I don't know. It's
not dark. It's not like deep and dark or anything, but
yeah,
caramel is kind of light.
Yeah, but it looks by color, it looks like the darkest one on the table.
It almost smells a little bit of malt to it.
A little schmutzy, you know?
Yeah. All right,
here we go.
It's earthy. It's very earthy on the palate. Which has got to be from the wheated part of it.
Like you're in a field of mushrooms.
Yeah, this reminds me a lot of like a Maker's Cast drink, kind of. Not as strong. Obviously, it's only 100 proof, but just kind of that same kind of flavor.
Was it rugged? Is that the word? Rugged.
Rugged.
It's definitely like, you know, when fall hits and all like the leaves hit the ground, and you're like, man, I wonder what that would taste like in a bourbon. I don't know, but maybe I don't know. It just kind of has like It's not
So
like terrible. I mean, I think it's okay. I mean, if someone said, "Hey, do you want to drink this?" I'd be like, "Sure, no problem." But I'm not going to be like, "What? Well, I got to know what this is. I got to go out and get it tomorrow." You know.
Steven says the tan labels 53% corn, 39% wheat, 8% malted barley. So it's a higher wheat content than this one.
The proof is on that one.
Yeah, is it bottled in bond or 90 or what it may be?
I'm hoping it's like a 115 or something like that. But
I don't know. I don't know. It's a good question. I've seen it at a few stores, but I haven't grabbed one. I don't. Eric says it's 106. So looks like they're trying to compete with like Antique, right? OWA.
Yeah, but
the higher content and getting that proof. Right. Matt said, "Did I miss the heated conversation?" No, we were just talking about it, Matt.
Yep, you might as well turn your phone off. We're done now. We're gonna move on.
You can go.
No,
Brad says he likes it a lot. Okay, well, we may have to get a bottle, Devin. We're gonna have to try it, I think.
Yeah. May have to surprise us with a blind on it, and just like we have to not know what it is, but we'll probably know because you're gonna give us a random like, "Hey, this is a sample that you don't know what it is." And you're like, "Oh, it's probably that."
David wants to know if the Origin series is aged longer than Discovery. No. So the Discovery series isn't just Bardstown's own stuff that they've aged. The Discovery series is a blend of the older barrels that they sourced along with some of their stuff. For instance, the Discovery 12, the new one out, is what, 14? It says 14-year-old wild turkey in it.
Allegedly,
that off, Daddy.
Allegedly a wild turkey. It's 48%, 14-year of the same mash bill as wild turkey. And then it's 29%, 10-year of what's believed to be Jim Beam. And then 15-year or 15% of 10-year. And then 8% of their own 6-year of their wheated or corn, rye, and wheat. They're 4 grain, I guess. So I don't know if you can read all that, but it's they have it on the side of their labels when they put it on their bottles and whatnot. Which I really like the clarification of what's in there. They're not just like, yeah, it's a blend, and you don't know what the age is, and we're going to charge $150 for it. And you're like, well, hopefully.
Yeah, but what it comes down to, David, is it's a blend of older stuff they sourced along with some of their own stuff. So it's not just like the Origin series is just their stuff that they distilled and they aged. So they're not blending in any of the stuff they've sourced earlier.
Yeah.
All right, move on to the next one.
Mm-hmm.
We got the white label, which is their rye mash bill. It is 90 proof. It is 60% corn, 36% rye, 4% malted barley.
Did you say 96 proof?
90 proof. 96, yeah, 96 proof.
Okay.
96. And it is also 6 year.
Yeah.
Oh, that's got a nicer nose to it. That definitely seems a little more complex. There's a little bit of a little bit of dark fruit on there.
Me likey.
Go with the brown sugar.
This smells really good.
Oh, that does have a really nice nose.
I want to say if you took like Bullet 12-year and Michter's 10-year and blended them, it's not as good as like the Michter's 10 smell, but it has like that same kind of like something between the two.
Yeah, so this is definitely, it's got that brown sugar. It's got a little bit of dark fruit. A little bit of peppery coming through. I think it's got a nicer nose than the black label.
Yeah. This is like the Barbra Streisand of noses. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. All right.
This is pretty good.
I'll give it a try. Yeah, you can see if it matches the palate.
Yeah, well, hopefully. Or otherwise, it tastes like dill and you'll eat it. We'll see.
Mm-hmm. So it's definitely spicier. Got a lot of pepper on the finish.
It's spicier, but overall it's muted. The whole mouth feel, everything is muted for me. Palate, everything. You get that?
I didn't really get anything in the front. I just get like pepper on the finish. It's definitely thin. It's thin.
It tastes like an 80, 70 proof. I was like, what the heck? There's like nothing here. I get a little something at the end, but yeah, it was The
It's
nose.
peppery on the finish, and that's pretty much the dominating the palate.
Yeah.
And it is thin. It's nowhere near as like the Black Label was definitely like a better mouthfeel.
Yeah, but the nose on the
Yeah, the nose and the palate did not match on that one.
yeah. Although it did have more flavor, but it just wasn't like the flavor you really want. You're just like, all right, well, it has more something going on. But this one was definitely the rye. It was definitely muted. It didn't deliver anything on the front or the mid palate. It was like,
Yeah. Brad says that the Disco 12s are gone everywhere around him in northern Kentucky.
Yeah.
And Steven had said the Discoveries are findable, but the 12 might be all gone.
yeah. We found some in at Party Source about a month and a half ago. Was it?
Yeah, there was a bunch of them down there about a month and a half ago.
Like, I picked up 2 of them, one to back up and one to crack for the review, and I was like, well, if everyone's saying it's so good, I'll at least have the 2. And I was like, okay, well, I have 2. That's fine.
Yeah,
So,
and we did review it, and we do have that video. I actually just edited that video last night.
Yeah.
So we did Discovery 11 versus Discovery 12 blind.
a little sip of these later and just kind of go over them and whatnot and compare them to these ones, because I also want to try to see how these are compared to these, like their standard offering / White Dog, and then they're like higher end limited edition releases and stuff like that. So
Steven says that his favorite order for the Bardstowns are tan label, white label, black label. And that's the order for him.
okay.
So far, I like the black label better than the white label on the palate. On the nose, the white label was better, but it didn't deliver on the palate.
I'm gonna go back to the rye again. Well, I'm still on the rye, I guess.
Well, we got do the rye.
Yeah, compare it again to. I'll do it at that, and then I'll do the wheated again.
So that's definitely, you can tell it's a rye. That's very grassy. It's grassy with a little hint of mint.
There's like when I swallow it, there's like a little mint, and that's it. There's no.
Oh, I haven't tried it yet.
There's no front finish on it at all.
Well, let me just go over it real quick. It is a 95.5. It is a 6-year, and it is 96 proof as well.
Oh, okay. I'm not on that one yet. I was still sticking.
Oh, you're still okay. No, the white label.
Yeah,
No. We wanted the green label.
It was
The
not
green label.
at all. I was like, this is just like nothing, and then a little like spearmint at the end. Like, you know when you brush your teeth and then you're done, you do the. That's all it was. That's all it was for the white label rye. So, yeah.
All right, let's go ahead and try the rye. This is the green label.
The 95.5. Now that smells pretty good. It does have more of a dill note, I will say, Todd. You might not like it as much.
There's a little bit of dill in it.
Yeah, but I like it.
It's a little bit of dill, very grassy, and pepper, and like black pepper. This reminds me a lot of like an MGP rye.
It smells like the Bullet 12-year rye. But it probably tastes like a 6-year rye.
It didn't have as much dill as that, but it's definitely tastes like an MGP rye.
Yeah. Well, it's 96 proof, so what was it?
Reminds me of like the well, I think they use their own stuff now, but Old Pepper, when like a couple of years ago, their rye was sourced from MGP, and it reminds me of that a lot. Yeah, and you definitely get a little bit of mint on the nose, grassy, a little bit of dill and pepper on the palate.
Oh yeah, now that one, the green label rye blows the nose on this one out of the water. Like, Interesting.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna go for a sip on this one, the green one.
All right.
That smells pretty good though. For if you're a rye drinker, like I am now somehow.
Yeah, if you like the high, like the 95.5 type ryes, then you think you definitely enjoy it. If you like MGP ryes or even like the New Riff bottled in bond rye, reminds me of those on the palate. Speaking of, we have a little bit of an announcement. Talking about New Riff. We are set up to do our first barrel pick as a channel. So we will be doing a pick with limited bottles in the middle of January.
Nope.
It will be New Riff, a New Riff bourbon. And we will be opening that up for a pre-sale on our Patreon.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're interested in getting a bottle, if you see this video, go join our Patreon. You don't have to be a paid member. There is a free membership level.
Yep.
But when we open that up for people to pre-purchase, to pre-buy, we are going to open it up to Patreons first. So if you are interested, go join the Patreon. You can get the free level, and that way we'll be able to notify you through the email and stuff when we open up that link for purchase.
Oh.
All right, Brad. So I guess I'll get to that as well. So for the pick team, we do have 4 spots open. And what we're going to do is our paid Patreon members, we're going to put it in as a lottery for our Patreon members to be selected to be part of that pick if they're able to make it. So we are going to open up those spots, and whatever your Patreon level is, that's how many entries you get into the lottery.
Yep.
And we will pick 4 people who are part of our community to come and join us and do that barrel pick.
Yep.
So you need to be a paid Patreon member prior to 12/17, because we want you to at least be a member for a month, and the pick is on 1/17.
Yep.
So if you're interested in maybe having a shot at being part of the pick team, go sign up on Patreon and you'll have a chance. So
yep.
There you go.
Thank you for those who have been
Patreon members.
And we're excited to do our first pick potentially with you. So
yeah, and our Patreon members, we do a Patreon giveaway every month. I post pretty much daily in the chat, Patreon only chat. We post some videos for just them. We make posts for them. Every month we do put up a post to let them select a video that we do. So, we try to make it worth. So that bourbon guy, that's Paul. He got his shirt. He's at one of the tier levels where you get some gifts after a certain amount of time, and so his shirt must arrive today. So he has his whiskey sipper shirt now.
Yeah. And we are working on some Glen Cairns. So
yeah, we're working on I'm getting some custom Glens.
Yeah, so be patient with us, but those will eventually come out, and then I'm looking forward to getting one too. So
yeah. All right, so I'm going to head back through these, Devin. Let's see, except for the white dog.
Yeah. The white dog, that might be second. No, it's last. Definitely last on my list. I honestly think, are you trying to do the ranking of them now?
After I go back through, but I tell you what, that Black Label, the nose opened up a lot more. It's a lot more like caramel on that now.
Yeah.
It's like it got a lot stronger than it did the first time through.
Matt, what
do you mean what? I don't know if he's talking about the pick or he's talking about me saying the bottle opened up.
What? Yeah, that does smell better now. Let me see. Yeah, the white label rye definitely is muted a little bit. The black label opened up a little bit on the nose, at least. I don't know. I'm not sure on the palate or whatnot, but we'll see.
Palate still kind of earthy, but it's sweet. It's got a nice mouthfeel to it. You can tell it's that 100 proof. The difference in proof points, I think, come through a little bit stronger there.
No,
it's not bad.
Yeah, there's a couple extra little proof points. I'm not sure if it just adds a little bit to it or not, but I know it's not a lot. It's only 4 proof points, but it definitely the color on it is definitely darker, and it definitely tastes a little bolder or more earthy and viscous,
And also, just a note, if you're wondering about our Patreon, there's a link in the description for this live. There's a link in the description for all our videos, so you can click on that link and it'll go to our Patreon page. What if you happen to be at New Riff on the same day? It doesn't mean you'll get to do the pick unless you're a Patreon member and you get selected.
There, we'll have to go to Party Source and see if they got any more discounts behind the show.
All right.
I think the black one's opening up. The white one's getting a little bit muted, and the green, the standard, the 95.5, it's starting to mute a little bit, but it definitely has more flavor overall than all the other ones. So
Brad said that the Frank Sinatra, he says, has a weird note. He's not sure what it is. I like it. I think it's got a little less of the banana that people get on Jack. It's a little less of that, but I think it's a little more oaky.
Yeah. I did a blind with it, a sample of it once. I think I had some like your 117 series in there, Todd, and I was like, well, the 117 are a little bit better, but the Jack's the Frank Sinatra came in like third out of like 7 or so. But I think it also just the proof didn't help it. I was like, man, I wish it had more oomph.
Yeah. How much would you pay for a Pappy 23, Devin?
For a bottle of it?
Yeah. I don't like paying secondary prices. I mean, I know what it goes for on secondary, but I personally would never pay that. But I mean, if I had a chance, I'd probably, I don't know, maybe like 400 maybe. I'd buy it just because I would say I'd have it, but I don't like paying secondary prices at all.
For 23 though, I mean, I've had it. It's good, but I wasn't like. Dang.
I haven't had the 23. I've never had it. I've had the 15, and the 15 was very good.
I think the 15 is my favorite. I've had the 10, the 15, 20, and 23. The 15 was my favorite. The 23 was nice. I mean, honestly, for the cool bottle to have and just be like, all right, there's a story of whatever, and then everyone comes over and they're like, oh, Pappy, and you're like, yeah, here, have a little pour of it or whatever. Like, that wow factor. I mean, and then if you had like a party, like a newborn or like a wedding or a bachelor party or something that you wanted to bring it to, I mean, I could see it being like a.
Yeah, but how much would you be willing to pay out of pocket for it? I mean, I wouldn't pay those secondary prices. I just wouldn't.
I don't know. I'd probably try to trade for it first. I'd be like, oh, do you want some of this or that or whatever?
Yeah, you try to get a trade deal. Yeah, like I don't know. The 15 is really good. I had the 10-year, and the 10-year is not worth anything close to what it goes for on secondary. I mean,
the 10-year, we did that blind.
We got blown away by all the other LE bottles.
And then it was like Heaven Hill, 17, 13 County Double Oak, all that.
Four Roses limited edition, all those just absolutely destroyed that Pappy, that 10-year.
I think it'd be better to get 2 Four Roses limited editions versus a Pappy 10-year. I mean,
yeah, for sure. So what would you trade for it?
What would I trade? Well, here in Ohio, the currency is red Weller.
Red Wellers. Yeah, yep.
I don't know. I think I'd be around 1,000 on it. I mean, I would feel comfortable with that and be like comfortable opening it. But then you get into like that whole like secondary of it being like $3,000, and you're like, do I really want to open it?
So you're saying like what, 11 antiques, 12 antiques?
Yeah, but see that no one's gonna trade it for that. So like, it's a moot point. You know what I mean? So like, what would I want to get it for, and then open it up for? I'd be like, you know what, if I won it in the OHLQ lottery, which I by the way never won, by the way. So but if I did, yeah, probably double MSRP would be okay.
Brad says that it goes down there. It goes for 2 through 5K.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's about what that's. I know that's what it is on secondary, right? It's normally around like 3,000 on secondary, I think.
Like
two George T. Staggs for it.
What's that?
He said he'd take 2 George T. Staggs for it. If I had one, I'd trade it for 2 George T. Staggs. I'd rather have two Staggs than a Pappy 23, personally.
I don't know. That'd be tough because like I really like George T. Stagg. George T. Stagg's really good.
Yeah, I know. Absolutely.
Juice, it's like I don't know. George T. Stagg is really good. Just saying. I mean, yeah.
Okay, so I think the Black Label is the best of those Bardstown that we did, Devin.
What? Boo this!
Yep, the Black Label. You don't think the Black Label was the best one?
No. Sorry.
The green's next. Green's next.
I was shoveling my driveway for like half an hour trying to get all the snow out of here before this video. So I'm like, I got the black lung pop. I think the green, the rye. Ironically, I was never a huge rye guy, but let me tell you, Michter's really opened me up to that. The rye I think delivers more on the flavor, and then the Black Label. That's just
I go Black Label, Green Label, White Label, last place. Steven said the Pappy 23 is $450 at the Alabama like lottery drop, whatever they do monthly over there. If you can get it for that, definitely get it. If nothing else, to trade it, you can get a whole bunch of good bottles.
Yeah. I mean, There's nothing
Cheers,
wrong
Jar.
with
What are you drinking, Jar?
Let me trade a bunch of other stuff I really enjoy. You know what I mean?
Yeah. What are you drinking? You're talking about the Pappy. I'm guessing you're not opening the Pappy.
Yeah, I think the green label's the better one. Green for sure.
The green label's pretty good, but I like the black label better after it opened up.
I'll go with the black label opened up on the nose compared to the white rye or whatnot, and the white rye had no flavor. Like the white dog had more flavor than the white rye. However, I mean, I'm not saying it was a super better flavor.
I agree. The white label I thought was very lacking.
Yeah.
Oh, you're drinking the Weller Full Proof? I like Weller Full Proof. Good bottle. Good pour.
Juice. I think it's my favorite one. Best one. Other than the William LaRue, but yeah, the blue one is like the standard bottles of the best one.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's good too. You must be in Ohio. You're talking about you could get red all day. You got the blue Weller. You must be another Ohio guy.
That's a good thing because Ohio, they deliver on the Weller at least in their like crazy. You got to show up early and hang out every other Saturday to get it, hopefully. But
yeah, it's not as crazy as some of the other stuff, like that Kroger drop we went to.
Yeah.
Here recently, that was a complete mad. That was just a complete clusterfuck. You just started and all you have are nice bottles. I don't know. I started with the basic stuff and I worked my way up. I mean, before I was like really knew anything about bourbon, I had just like, regular Maker's Mark and Jim Beam White Label. Had a lot of that, drank a lot of Jim Beam White Label coming up.
Cheers, Shauna.
Hi, Shauna. What are you drinking tonight?
Yeah, I started off with my buddy, and he was like, "You know what? You don't need to make all these crazy cocktails. Just pour bourbon in a glass." And then after that, I was like, "All right, I'll do that." And I started doing that more and more. And he's like, "Here, try this Red Weller and this E.H. Taylor stuff and this." And I was like, "This is pretty good stuff here." And so like I just started like trying to find all that stuff. And then of course everyone starts trying to find the Buffalo Trace because everyone talks about Buffalo Trace. And then start branching into the Michters and the Makers and the Old Forester and the Jack Daniels and so.
Yeah, I like hunting too. I mean, he brought up he likes to do hunting and opening. Yeah, I do the same. I love to hunt down bottles. It feels great to get a bottle that's like hard to find. Yeah. And then it's even better when we fresh crack it with some friends. If you saw some of our shorts last weekend, I had a party and we opened up some bottles. We opened up Stag 24A. I had a King's Family Distillery 17-year 140 proof American light whiskey, and Devin brought the Coy Hill, which we fresh cracked.
Yeah, and that sucker,
that was amazing, absolutely amazing. Yeah. So I usually, whenever I love finding those really hard to find bottles, and when I do open them, I usually save them until I get a group of people together, and I can open it and share with other people. Yeah. That's kind of the way I handle things.
Yeah, the first crack party was definitely fun. It was like, all right, what's next? Boom, and you're like, all right. New bottle. And then next thing you've got 10 new bottles and you're like, well, good time.
All right. 1790 full proof. This is a good pour, Shauna. Those are, I found it to be kind of hit and miss though. I think some are better than others. Some of them can be pretty hot.
Yeah.
So if you're just joining, I'm just going to go back over the fact that we are going to be doing our first channel barrel pick. It is going to be a limited amount of bottles. We are doing new riff, and we will be distributing those through Patreon. So if you're not a Patreon member, you can go join. You can join the free tier. We're going to start at the top and work our way down. As long as there's bottles left, you can order some. So click on our Patreon link. You can sign up for that free tier. You can have a chance to purchase bottles. And for the pick team, we're actually going to pull paid Patreon members. We're going to hold a lottery and pull members from our Patreon community to fill out that pick team. So if you haven't already, you can click on the link in the description of any of our videos or on this live, and you can go join.
And we hope to see you there because we need more people to taste some good bourbon with us so we can have all the people that like bourbon and our palate or whatnot to say this is the best one we have for all of our guests. So good
Yeah,
stuff.
thank you for the congratulations on the barrel pick. I'm pretty confident because we are doing a limited amount of bottles. We'll be able to sell this. It won't be too bad, but we kind of want to see how things go. So in the future, we can look at like more picks we do, going other places and stuff like that. So
hopefully when we all win that, Sazerac picks, we can be like, hey, now we got the Buffalo Trace bottles or whatever to give out or whatever. But until then,
David said he's got a Black Label Old Forester if we ever do a meet and greet.
Ooh,
I wouldn't mind doing something. We have a lot of, I know, people like commenting on our videos and some people that come in our chats here and stuff that are Ohio people. And I know there's other Ohio channels like Shauna here, from Cast 529 is in Ohio. And I wouldn't mind if we managed to put something together like in a summer and do like an Ohio meetup. I think that'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
When are we going to draw who's going to New Riff? So we're only going to take people who are Patreon members by 12/16, and then we're going to draw who's actually going to go right after the first of the year. So we're going to give people plenty of time. We're going to let them know when the pick is. The pick will be on 1/17, and maybe actually we should do the drawing before Christmas so they have more time to plan.
Yeah.
What do you think, Devin?
That sounds good to me.
So maybe like the week before Christmas, we'll actually do the Patreon drawing. When we do our Patreon giveaway for the month, we also do that drawing. So we'll do it towards the end of this month, but you have to be a paid Patreon member before 12/17. So you'll have a month in by the time of the pick. So yeah, it'll be like the week before Christmas, we'll do the drawing.
I don't know if you remember, if you mentioned it before, like recently, but we have 4 slots left. 4 slots.
Yeah. So we have 4 slots for the pick team open that we're going to fill from the Patreon community.
And if you've ever been there, like I have not been to New Riff or a pick. I've done a pick outside of New Riff, but if you go there, you do the whole day tour. Todd, if you want to explain more about it, like what you do there while you're there. And
sure. So they bring you in for a tour. You go about an hour before your pick gets set up. You'll go in, you meet up in the lobby. They take you for a tour through their distillery. You get to see like their equipment, the mash tanks. They talk about like kind of the history of the distillery. You get to go to the barrel houses. And so you get like that general tour. Well, actually the distillery part is separate, right? And then they put you on a bus and they drive you over to their campus where they actually do the barrel houses and the tasting. So you do the distillery tour, see all their equipment and get the history and everything. Then they take you and you go check out the barrel houses and you walk through and they tell you about the different barrels and different parts of their barrel house, like some where they age experimental stuff. And then some where, you get to check it out. It's really neat. And then you go inside, you get to see the bottling line, the filtration systems, all that kind of stuff. And then they take you into a room where you do the pick, and they give you 6 different barrels to try, and you sample those 6 barrels until you come down to a consensus on the one you want.
Yeah.
How do they charge for barrels? So with New Riff, you can buy quarter, half, or full barrels. That's why I said we were doing a limited number, because I'm not sure we could sell a full barrel, so we're going to do a smaller portion. But they could charge by a quarter, a half, or a full. So, overall, when we've done a quarter barrels in the past, they come out, I can't remember exactly, maybe around 5,000 or something like that. That's after taxes and everything. So it's pretty expensive, the whole thing. I mean, it comes out like our price is going to be, what we're going to be charging is $62.99 a bottle. So a bottle is going to be $62.99. And if you can do like a local pickup, you won't have to worry about delivery. If you're outside of our area, then it would be $62.99 and whatever it costs to ship it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the easy answer. Is it's going to end up costing about $62.99 for the bottle plus delivery. That's after taxes and everything.
Yep. But cast strength for the barrel for / maybe you. So I think it'd be a great time. So I'm looking forward to some of you.
And I'm going to Let me move to presentation mode here for just a second. And let me see. See if I can. Well, shoot, I'm trying to get the image for the that'll be etched on the bottle.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember what exactly it says, but on the top it says whiskey sippers, and then I'm trying to remember what it was. Sippin', rockin' sippin', so, something like that. But it's got a cool guitar on it.
See if I can bring this up. I don't know. Can you see it now, or is it still just showing? I can't. What's that?
It's just like a black screen right now.
So it didn't show it. Okay. I might not be able to share like a PDF or something. But New Riff etches the bottles. So on the bottle is going to be etched. We have basically a guitar with music notes, and it says Whiskey Sippers, the opening riff. So it's our first barrel pick.
Opening riff.
Yeah. So it's our first pick. It's our opening riff, like the opening riff of a song. And we just picked the kind of guitar theme and music notes to go with the whole new riff thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're very excited to be able to go do this first pick. And it's something we definitely wanted to get in at the beginning of the year. So it's going to be a good time. I think whoever ends up going with us, I think everybody's going to have a lot of fun.
Yeah.
You know, I've been to New Riff several times.
This should be a good time.
So. Yeah. It's always a lot of fun to do it.
Yeah. Especially when you get to do the distillery stuff, and then you get to like go behind the scenes. And then when you do it at the distillery, you get, I think, twice as many barrels to choose from.
You get six.
Yeah. You like a full, like, no, this one's out. These three are really good. And then you start narrowing it down between you and your group, and you're like, this is the best one for sure.
Yeah, so you'll go through your 6 barrels, you go back and forth, you know, kind of like we do knockout rounds normally. You go through and say, okay, what do we want to eliminate? And everybody votes, and you eliminate a barrel, then you go through and eliminate the next barrel, and you do that until you get down to the, you know, your winner.
Yeah.
And then when you're done, they take you out to your actual barrel that you're buying, and you get to sign the barrel, and then they give you a whiskey thief, and everybody gets to go in and thief out some samples to take home. So you get like a 200 milliliter sample bottle. You get to thief right from the barrel and take with you.
The perks, the Patreon perks. Oh. But I think it'll be a good time, and I'm excited. So
yeah, absolutely. So it's going to be a good time. And, you know, like I said, even if you're not going to want to do a paid Patreon to possibly get on the pick, if you're interested in a bottle, you can go sign up for the free Patreon, and it'll come through so you can do that purchase. So, well, we'll see. I don't think I'm confident we'll sell a quarter barrel. That's why we're doing a quarter barrel. You know, I'm not worried about that. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes and what we do in the future as far as picks and where we go and how much we do. I mean, to kind of like the bigger distilleries, it requires the full barrel purchase, so you got to have a little more confidence you can sell that many bottles before you go in and, you know, drop $12,000 or whatever for a barrel.
Yeah. Well, anyhow,
thanks, Brian.
I opened up so if you didn't hear in the beginning of this, my wife made me an advent calendar, and what I did was she took a bunch of different bottles and poured them in a thing, and I missed the last couple of days, so I'm on the day 4 of December, and I'm going through it now and doing a little nose of it. So
I'll just grab a random bottle off the shelf here. Pikesville Rye.
That's good stuff. Good
have a little pour.
Heaven hell. Even though they burned me. Oh gosh.
It burned you 4 out of 5 days. Jira, I don't know how to pronounce your name. You ask where we're at in Ohio. I don't know if it's Jira. I apologize if I butchered that. We are in Northeast Ohio. I'm up in the Akron area, and Devin is up a little further north, about an hour away in the Chardon area.
I think
I do have a great wife. You're right. I have a great wife.
Yeah. I think this is the toasted Michter's Barrel rye. Nature's Toasted Barrel Strength Rye. That's what this is.
I haven't had that yet. I have a bottle I have not opened. I'm waiting for the next gathering we have.
I'm like smelling. I'm like, you know what? What on this shelf has the same like toasty pecan note? I'm like, bam, right there. All right, without even tasting it. I didn't even taste it yet. I've done this once before at a bar, and they were very impressed, and they were like, "Here's a free pour of Rock Hill Farms." I was like, "Thanks." All right.
Oh, there you go. Very nice.
I was like, "Man,
nailed it."
Bam. All right, this is fun. All right, I like when she does this. This is exciting for me. So.
Yeah, but that might be something we talk about come we start to get into spring and stuff, Devin, is maybe we try to reach out to some other channels and the people around us and see if we do have like some kind of little gathering.
Yeah,
somewhere here in Ohio, like Ohio people, and of course anybody would be welcome to come, but try to reach out to like people who are in Ohio who have channels.
Yeah,
I know there's several.
Drive around here, or we can go like a little bit or whatnot. I'm sure we can. Right. Sure we can come up with something. So
yeah, we can talk about it. Something we can actually talk about.
So should I open up and try? It's already open, but try,
I don't know if you're talking about me or Devin, yeah. Big Dog Whiskey, or maybe both of us. They likes our wives better than us.
Yeah, they're great ladies. Either one of them. Yeah, I might open up and try these two real quick before I get more into those advent calendar ones. But we'll.
So this Pikesville rye is actually a really nice rye. Haven't visited in quite a while. It is a high corn rye though, and I tend to like those high corn ryes. But it's still got that peppery finish to it. Funny enough, these can be hard to find in Ohio.
Which ones?
The Pikesville.
Yeah, I've never seen one in Ohio. Actually, maybe once I saw it, and I was like, I don't know too much about it at the time. Now I'm like, it's really good. But I do not currently own one.
Oh, Steven, that'd be awesome. Yeah, if we start to like put something together as we plan it, I'll definitely keep you in mind and let you know.
Yeah.
But that would be neat if we could do something like that. Like do just a gathering, like a weekend or something, a Friday, Saturday type thing.
Do a little bottle share or fresh cracks or something. Yeah.
What is a Glydian pick? I have no idea what that is. A Glydian? I've not heard of that. I know that like I see a lot of Gallenstein picks, but that's just the kind of the company that owns a lot of liquor stores down there in Kentucky. They do the Gallenstein pick. That's what they call them. It's all the same company. Even though they own multiple different liquor stores like Liquor City or Uncorked down in Covington. Those are all owned by the same like mother company, Gallenstein.
Oh.
But I don't know Glydian. I'm not familiar with.
Well, now I'm doing the
one other thing I want to bring up real quick, Devin.
What's that?
Something I want to bring up.
Go ahead.
I saw some videos. People are making videos about this now on some different whiskey tube channels. That bill that they're trying to pass here in Ohio,
where
they make you open the bottle when you buy it.
Yeah, that's dumb.
That is so dumb. I can't believe that. I mean, I don't think there's any way it passes. And I understand what they want to do. They want to try to like tamper down the secondary market, which it's great, but that's not the way to do it. You don't make people pop open bottles when they buy them at the liquor store and then try to reseal them. I don't like that at all.
Yeah. What do you do? Like, well, I'm going to buy a Weller.
What if I'm trying to buy a gift for someone? Now I'm going to give them an open bottle. I mean, that's just silly.
And then how do you say what's allocated, what's not? You're like, oh, this Jim Beam.
Well, they have an allocated list here in Ohio. We have an allocated list.
You have to open this $25 bottle, and you're like, okay, like, I don't know.
And for anybody who doesn't know what we're talking about, like if you're not in Ohio, one of our senators, like state senators, proposed a bill where whenever you buy an allocated bottle, you have to open it there at the store, and then they reseal it, and you take it with you. And I think that's just, I don't know. It's just crazy.
Yeah. Because then you have people that are like, oh yeah, it was open, but it was resealed. They lost the reseal. So like trade, you're like, okay, whatever.
If they want to fight the secondary market, then I think what you have to do is what you see at like Buffalo Trace or Heaven Hill. Well, you make people scan their ID and you limit them to like one bottle a week. I mean, what you have, the flippers, what they do is they go all day, all week and say, gather as much antique as they can. They end up with, 20 of them in a week. And then they go out of state and sell them. Well, if you scan their ID and limit them to one, you're going to put that practice to bed. You don't got to be make people open bottles. So you're right. That's exactly what it was. He was in line and he wanted to get a Blanton's and like didn't get it or something. And he heard people talking about reselling and somebody said they should make him open it. So he actually submitted a bill about it. This particular state senator isn't like the brightest bulb to begin with, though. So
he's not the brightest bulb on the Christmas tree.
Yeah. So I think that bill's kind of silly, personally. Like I said, if you want to try to hit the secondary market, limit how many they can buy, and that's how you're really going to get to them because they're going in bulk. It's not about getting that one bottle; it's about how many they can get. There you go, Brian. Brian actually posted a link here to the bill. I can't remember. I think it's like Bill 530 or something. But I really don't think it passes. No. If it passes, you'd protest, David. Yeah, it's just silly. The whole thing's just silly.
You got to show.
There's better ways to fight that. There's just better ways to fight. Trying to stop that secondary market or tamper it down than making everybody open a bottle. I mean, come on. Can you imagine? Like when there are times here where like our Giant Eagle on Saturday will have 5 or 6 cases of allocated bottles. Could you imagine if they have to stop, open every one of those, and then reseal them in between sales? It's going to take forever. Those liquor store employees are going to be unhappy, I guarantee you. And the whole thing's just silly. Like I said, put in a system where you limit how many they can buy in a week, and that will take care of a large amount of the problem.
Lenny, I'm sipping on some Bardstown 11 and 12 right now.
Sorry, didn't mean. I saw some videos about it today, and I was like, I'm gonna bring this up.
Back to the bourbon, you know what I mean? Anyway, the 12 definitely has a little more oomph to it. But I know everyone's saying, "Oh, it's like a Russell's 15, but junior." It's not there, but it is.
No, it's not.
It is a little bit better. Like if I saw both on the shelf, I'd go with the 12. But yeah, they both.
David, yeah. I'm sorry, David. You're absolutely right. It is, the cork pop is like a ritual to us. Yeah. We have parties to do it. You see the videos I post we make a big deal out of opening the cork on a bottle like that. I'm not going to want to open it in a store and have somebody reseal it. So, which one are you sipping now, Devin?
I'm doing like 11 and 12. And I'm like, like the 11 smells a little like cleaner, whatever, youthfuler, more youthfully, whatever. But the 12 has more of like a little dark tobacco cherry to it. But I don't want to say they're like opposite ends of the spectrum. They're very close. They're like if you had these, it's like, all right, 11, 12, and then Russell's 15 is like way over here. Like compared to everyone, how everyone's hyping these up and saying, oh, this is so close. It's like, no, they're not close at all.
Yeah, neither one of those.
A couple weeks ago, and I was like, all right, I'll try this versus the Russell's 15, and the Russell's 15 is so good. So good.
Well, when we shot the video with the Discovery 11 and Discovery 12, neither one came anywhere near a Russell's 15. I mean, it's not even in the same league. It's like single A versus the majors.
All right, little side note here. Like, when you're a kid and you're playing Pokemon, and you get like the good rod and you're like, oh, I'm catching these Magikarp, cool. And then you get the great rod, and then you get the super rod. The super rod is the Russell's 15, if you know what I mean. But
yeah, absolutely.
Quite good. And
we still have to come up with our lists that we're going to do for a Whiskey of the Year bracket.
Yeah. I'm getting a 13 Colony Double Oak tomorrow.
This year's?
This year's.
The 2024?
I got a trade in the works. So I'll do that. I'll
Well,
do.
I'm sure it'll be fantastic.
Boy Hill here. I got a couple of things in the works, so hopefully, we got a good couple bottles. I'm trying to think of like the requirements for it. Like, I don't want to just say I had a taste of it and be like, no, it was better than this. I'd rather do like a true blind where it's like, all right, Todd, what are your top 5 or so, and mine are 4 or 5, and we're like, all right, and then we do a blind and I'm like this one, all right, this one, yeah.
Yeah, I want to do. We'll do brackets. We'll do it like a March Madness type thing, where we'll just rent whoever we do with Anna or Renee or whatever who helps us sets up these. We don't know what we're trying. We're just going A against B, C against D, and just work our way down. What do we think about the upcoming surprise drop? I don't know what surprise drop is. It's a surprise to me. I don't know what you're talking about.
People have rumored something's happening. Like, I don't trust OHLQ for anything with rumors. So I'm kind of like, well,
I know they just released those. What were they? What was that they put out on OHLQ yesterday? Like, not Legacy, but they're like, there was some bottle like $15,000 or something crazy.
It was like fancy pants or something like that. It was like something ridiculous. They had a bottle on there. It was like $5,500 or $55,000.
That's it.
48-year Irish whiskey or something. I was like,
yeah, luxury. That's what it was. The luxury bottles. I'm not going to buy a single one of them. I think it's crazy.
Luxury.
That's my thoughts on it.
I was like, no, luxury.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I agree. The Russell's 15 is going to be hard to beat.
Yeah. I feel like they had to put a lot like an email out saying like, this is luxury. Like, you really should buy this because we have like a bunch of them in stock. I mean,
they're going to sit there. That's ridiculous. Those prices. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Jara says there's going to be a special Maker's Mark release coming.
Is it?
I'm not a huge Maker's fan.
If it's a cellar age, maybe I'll try to get one. But if not,
if it's just some of their like blends, like Ohio went and had some of those stave blends. I don't ever buy those. I have like one of them.
Like $70, and I'm always like $70. That or Elijah Craig barrel proof. Then I'm like, well, do I just get another red instead and actually save, $12, $15 on it because, whatever in Ohio. But
David said those luxury are out of budget for normal folks. You're absolutely right. The prices were crazy, and I didn't see. I mean, it's crazy. It's worse than trying to buy something on secondary.
Yeah. I feel like they just had to get like, they're like, hey, we got these 3 Irish whiskeys and these 2 scotches and this and that. And you're like, it's not.
I know one of them was like 43 years old, and that's amazing. Like, sure, somebody gave me a pour, I'd definitely drink it, but I'm not going to spend that kind of money on a bottle. That's nuts.
Yeah, when my nephew's eating a bunch of vegetables, he's like, no, thank you. That's going to be no, thank you. No, thank you.
Right.
It's like, I'll pass on that. So,
yeah. I don't know. But I don't know of any specific like special release that I've seen or heard of. I mean, there's always rumors.
Yeah.
And I expect something will happen in December because it did last year. But I have no idea what it'll be. I mean, I really have no clue.
Well, it's annoying because OHLQ is doing their little like lottery tickets. So you're like, oh, Maker's Mark Cellar Age is in the lottery. So then you're like, all right, if you get these little lottery tickets and you go around to the stores, and now that's what
those actually get announced tomorrow. Hey, Foolproof, cheers to you from Ohio. Let us know what you're drinking.
So if that's what they're gonna do, then okay, cool for those bottles. But if not, then like, hey, put out some stuff or whatever. But
I don't know, but.
The surprise drops are okay, but sometimes they're just really annoying because you have it where you're like, oh, it's Saturday or Friday at 5:00 p.m. and you're like, oh, there's a surprise drop at 6:00. I better leave my house after driving through a snowstorm to go over to potentially get a bottle that someone already had the inside information on. So,
Steven, I agree. I don't want to give thousands of dollars for any bottle. Those luxury bottles are nonsense. But those of you who don't know, over the last 2 weeks, they've had this thing here in Ohio where you can go to liquor stores and you get this lottery ticket. And the lottery ticket's for a specific bottle, like a King of Kentucky or Old Fitzgerald or birthday bourbon or like Blanton straight from the barrel. There are like 6 or 7 bottles.
Yeah.
And they announced the winners tomorrow, right? I think it's tomorrow they announce them.
I think it's tomorrow as well. So they'll announce that we are not winners tomorrow. Yes.
Yeah. We will find out tomorrow. We're not winners, but they will be announcing it to
Correct.
not us specifically, but we won't be winners because, we won't get the good announcement. We never do.
Yeah.
There's a Facebook group called Ohio Lottery Losers that I am a member of.
I'm not a member, but
you should join because you haven't won one.
Because I'm not part of that group, but in spirit and in heart, I am a member because I don't. But yeah, David, I hopefully with those not coming out yet to Ohio, then hopefully those get released some kind of something. But we'll see what happens. So
we win a lot. Look at our collection. Our collection has nothing to do with winning lotteries.
Yeah, no. This is Kentucky trips and waking up really early, and wife also waking up really early with me and saying, "All right, well, we'll do this, but we better get some good breakfast," or just doing it out of the kindness of her heart so that we can get bottles or something. And
it's a lot of early mornings, waiting in lines. It's a lot of trips to Kentucky and Tennessee and places like that. I've got like a lot of bottles out of state. Going to drops you hear about there, like the Kroger drops and stuff, and or running across them either in other states time to time.
Yeah.
Like I ran across some stuff when I was in Vegas, like off the strip at a price I would have never seen it around, over here. So
yeah,
I do have a couple of bottles from the lottery that other people in my family have won that are pretty good. So that's the trick is when you're in Ohio is anybody with an Ohio license that'll enter for you. And you have them enter for you, and hopefully they'll win because you never will.
I have bad luck with the
Shauna, I wish you the best of luck, and I absolutely hope you guys win something. I think that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Let's do the meetup in Vegas. That'd be an expensive meetup for people in Ohio to go to Vegas. But Vegas is a lot of fun. I've traveled there like about 5 or 6 times for my work. And I've been there outside of that once. So it's always a good time in Vegas.
Yeah. I've been there probably, I want to say like 7 times now. But it's like my mom had events where when I was younger, she'd go there like every other year. And then like I went there for work a couple of years ago. And it was like, okay, this is just more fun than I remember being a kid, and you're like, oh, I can do all this cool stuff. So, and that's
fun as an adult. Yeah, it wouldn't be so much fun as I think it could be fun as a kid. They have a lot of stuff to do in Vegas, but it's definitely fun
like shining lights and like noises. You're like, you run around like an 8-year-old, like. Oh.
It's especially great when you go there, like when you're there kind of on business, because you always got people who are trying to get your business, who are taking you out to dinner and taking you out to different events and stuff like that. So if you go there for like a business trip, you're gonna have a lot of fun.
Sounds good. So. Yeah.
I don't know if there are more people from out of state, Brad. If you're talking about that last drop, that drop was absolutely a complete cluster.
Don't talk about it.
That was mostly Kentucky people.
Let it go. I don't want to bring it.
All right.
It's a terrible time. No. It's in the past. It's gone. It's over here. We're over here. It's over there. You know what I'm saying?
We found out today, my wife let me know that Jack Daniel's has released a new distillery series.
Yeah.
It is Jack Daniel's rye finished in toasted maple barrels. So if any of you are near Jack Daniel's and want to hit me up and send me one of those bottles, I will gladly send you a payment because I definitely would enjoy like getting that. I love Jack Daniel's rye, and my wife really loves the maple stuff. So
it's a win-win.
Yeah. But that's something we're definitely going to have to end up getting if we have to make a trip down there. We'll make a trip down there, I guess. But I can't let that one pass by.
Do I appear in your room now? What do you mean?
Like Bloody Mary. If you say Kroger 3 times, are you going to appear in his room?
Over. Show up and I'm like, oh, sorry, no wristband for you, and then I'll disappear. Hi. It's over.
They need to do like Bama and limit it to the state residents. So the only thing limited to state residents in Ohio are the lotteries. So like when we have allocated drops or something, anybody can go to them. there's a guy from New York who was down during Single Barrel Saturday, and he went to some like smaller town or whatever. He cycled through and he getting like 6 Weller full proofs because nobody was there.
6. Oh,
Yeah.
folks.
So the only thing limited here by ID is the lottery drawings. Other than that,
enter online that are like quarterly or like semi-annually or whatever, and it's usually like Pappy and BTAC, and then it's like everything else, and then they'll just do something like, hey, we're gonna do this, and this, and you have to enter and put your license, or if you're military and you're stationed in Ohio, you can
do it. Yeah, even if you're don't have an Ohio residency or whatever, if you're military, you can still do it, right?
But I'm part of Ohio, so it doesn't matter to me. So anyhow, this toasted barrel proof rye is really pecany, spicy.
The same credit card get declined for a second purchase. Are you talking about like on a regular allocation?
Yeah, for a regular day, normally it's fine. Yeah.
I've never seen a credit card get declined for a second purchase, like of a normal drop, like whatever, like when there's like Weller Antique or Eagle Rare or something like that.
I've had it before where someone who I think they set it up, had like double charges, would decline it. So I remember he was like, "I'm gonna get a red Weller," and then like went back in line, and then as he was coming back, he's like, let me get a red Weller and a little like 50 milliliter of Maker's Mark. So it showed like a different transaction, and they didn't flag it as 2 of the same transaction. That might have been like their own bank thing though, but I have not seen that where someone's like, no, you already scanned your ID today, or this one license or this credit card has been approved or sent through. So you're cut off. So
maybe that's something, David, maybe that was something of that specific store. I don't know. I mean, I bought 2 red Wellers in the same day and didn't get it declined.
Yeah.
So I don't know. But I think each store can have their own rules.
These with different taxes, so the prices are different. No, I don't know.
Well, I think some municipalities do have different taxes, right?
Yes, and it sucks.
Yeah, they do.
It sucks because you go down to like there's the one John O's, and you're like, oh, this is great. It's like a normal tax. And then you go to the other one, you're like 11%.
Yeah. I know that they do in Kentucky, but I think here in Ohio, even like some townships can be different from others.
I think Cuyahoga County is 8%, and that's like everyone's like 8%. But
you're absolutely right about that. Taxes are crazy.
I've seen doing some travels in like Arkansas. They have like alcohol tax, which is like 11 or 14%. So you go to like even just like a standard restaurant. You're like, oh, let me get a pour of this, and they're like, oh, here's your Maker's Mark for like $8, and they're like, oh, but the tax is $3 on top of just for that. You're like, what the heck happened? You're like, oh yeah, we have an alcohol tax. That's absurd. You're like, oh, I didn't know that.
They do, yeah. It's like they're a sin tax.
Yeah, that's how they get.
Same thing for like cigarettes. You sell cigarettes are like, I don't know, some places they're like $12, $13 a pack or something. I mean, I don't smoke anymore, but I used to. Yeah. And I remember like back in the 90s, it was like a buck a pack. And then all of a sudden, like over the years, you get there like $5, $6 a pack. That's why I quit. I was just like, I'm not paying that.
Never smoked a cigarette in my life. Take it to the bank. But I paid for, gas tax and gun tax.
Yeah. Ammunition tax.
Ammunition tax. Oh, man.
Yeah, card fees. Yeah, some stores have card fees too. If you pay in cash, it's less than if you pay with a credit card. Some of the liquor stores.
Yeah. Oh, well, I will say, fun little tidbit. If you are traveling in Kentucky and you are trying to get bourbon, bring cash. Talk to all those crazy price dealer, high price stores and say, hey, I see you have this bottle for an absurd price. Can I do a cash discount? And a lot of times they'll do that. Just a fun little tidbit.
See ya, that bourbon guy. Thanks for joining. I'm going to have a little bit of 22A here, Devin. Stag 22A.
Hey,
this is one of my favorites. This is my favorite since batch 15.
I know 22A. No 22A to be found. But I do have, after this, I'm all out except for this Michter's. I do have one more advent calendar for number 5, which is the last one I need to catch up on. So
Okay.
I will do a little blind pour of this, and we'll see what happens.
Oh, yeah. Definitely pour that, Brad. Pour that 24B. I tried it for the first time last weekend. Pretty darn good. 24s, both the 24s are good.
Yeah. So this is December 5th pour. So.
Oh, yeah. 24-8. So look at all the stag we got going now. Got somebody pouring 24B, somebody 24A.
Season. What a gun season just happened? Like, open them up.
Oh, that nose is fantastic. I love the nose on stags.
See, I have a couple stags, but like I try not to open them or have a pour of them because I'm like, you know what, they're good. I'm gonna try all this other stuff here, and I'm like, and then every now and then I go back to it. Like for what was it, our Thanksgiving video? I was like, you know what, stag's a good pour to bring, and then I was like, well, I'm going to my my sister's house. And my brother-in-law and my brother-in-law's brother likes bourbon, so I was like, well, I'll bring the stag. We'll do it, and they enjoyed it. So now
Foolproof Hunter says he still hasn't scored a stag. You said you were in Mississippi, I believe, right? I really have no familiarity with the Mississippi bourbon market or what it's like or what they get over there. But we did travel. My wife and I did a trip out west, and I know once we started hitting like kind of more Midwest, like Kansas and stuff like that, that was like the selection was really, really poor on bourbon. There was not a good selection out that way.
Yeah, remember didn't you find a Weller 12 or something?
That was in Colorado.
Okay.
So in Colorado, we ran across a store and we were just chatting the guy up, talking about us bourbon hunting and stuff. Yeah. And he had a 1 liter of Weller 12 in the back, and he sold it to us for MSRP. It was like $65 or something.
Yeah. That was like oh, snap. I remember you showed me and you're like, well, this is the highlight of our trip, finding this. As far as bourbon hunting goes, obviously you're having a good time with your wife and all, but you're like,
yeah,
oh, this is the one bottle where you're like, woohoo. Yeah.
So I've heard of Spillway. I think I've seen some videos there. I think Bruzel did like a bunch of Spillway picks or something. I've heard the name. Again, haven't been to Mississippi yet. We do want to try to hit every state. That's one we haven't been to, but we went through Missouri, Kansas, Colorado, Wyoming, Iowa, Nebraska, and Illinois when we did our road trip.
I have a buddy in Alaska. We could,
I definitely want to go to Alaska. Not to bourbon hunt, but I definitely just want to go to Alaska.
That would be fun. You get there and you're like, what do you have? You're like, well, snow, elk, bears, like bourbon, I guess. Yeah.
I'd like to get up to the northern part of Alaska and see the Aurora Borealis up there.
Yeah. I've seen that, like, I have not personally seen it, but everyone's always like, oh, this is the night it's going to be here in Ohio or like Michigan or what. And I'm like, okay. And I look outside and I don't see anything. And I'm like, wow,
Renee and I did the same thing.
Yeah.
We were driving around like, where's a good spot we can go see this? It's supposed to be out tonight. And people were showing pictures of it. Yeah. And we drove all the way up to like, I don't know, past Hudson. And we were like, we just can't see anything.
Cleveland on the water. Like, come on, give me something.
No, people were saying like, well, you have to use this specific filter on your camera. It's not if I have to use a filter on my camera, then it's not the real thing. I want to be able to just look up and see it.
Yeah, this is like the eclipse in Ohio, like a couple months ago. You're like, oh, there it is. Oh shit, bam. That was kind of cool. But
Steven says nothing good in Bama. All allocated drops go. You know what, Steven? So I'm originally from the Florida Panhandle, and it was like 2 summers ago now. We made a trip down to go visit my family. And we drove through Alabama on the way, and we stopped at probably a dozen liquor stores in Alabama. And you are right. That place Alabama was awful for bourbon. It was worse than like Kansas and Wyoming. I think that I saw like Jack Daniel's sitting on the shelf for like $35. And that was like the best bottle they had. I mean, some of these stores were pathetic.
far as Alabama goes, do they do like quarterly, yearly, like what monthly? How do they do their drops? Because if we were to go down there to do a video or whatever, or like a trip down there, like what is the way to do it? Is it like a certain time or day or month or whatever? Like, I kind of want to know. So
You'll have to let us know, Steven. But Brad, no, I've seen people trying to say this. Cooper's Craft 100 is not the old early times black top barrels. It's not.
I will say it's not as well. I had a Cooper's Craft in May that I had on one of my my Army things, and I was like, you know what? I'll bring this Cooper's Craft. I got it at one of the PXs or whatever, and I was like, it's good. And then I've had the black top. I've had the regular standard.
Well, when Sazerac purchased it, they said it's going to be the same mash bill, and they don't make that mash bill. So the only way they could continue to make it for the next 4 years or bottle it is to have the barrels that came with it, because they have to wait 4 years to be bottled in bond. So there's no way it's that same. It's not the same stuff. I've seen people saying that. I told Devin we need to go grab a bottle of Cooper's Craft and blind them against the black top. It's just not the same.
Yeah, maybe we'll do a video on it, but I will say, where are they at over here? They're hiding over here on the shelf. I've got the standard one, and then I have the, oh my goodness, it's in the corner here, the black top. And
this video comes out tomorrow, Devin. Yeah, this is the one being released tomorrow.
I'm not going to give any spoilers alert, but I'll have a little sip. But it to me, it does not taste.
Exactly, Steven. That's what I'm saying. It can't be the Cooper's Craft can't be that early times, because Buffalo Trace got it when they purchased the brand. Because they needed to use their barrels while the stuff they distill themselves age. So absolutely. Foolproof Hunter, if you come across some early time somewhere traveling, blue top or black top, grab it, because they're both very good, especially for the price.
I will say, if you see an early times bottle in the bond, like the screw top, the blue top, whatever, for like $25.99 or less, just get it. Because I for me at least, I have a feeling, like in inflation and yada yada, but like I feel that eventually it'll be like all right, $29.99 or $35.99 or whatever.
I've already seen it up around $28.29.
Yeah, I saw it a couple of weeks
ago. But you're still talking about a liter. I mean, those are liter bottles.
A liter. Like, yeah. I mean, geez, if I had an infinity barrel, I would just dump it in there.
This Stag is so great on the nose. It's brown sugar and cherry.
It's funny.
Some of that sweet oak.
As you're saying this, I'm nosing this black top early times bottle and bond, and I'm thinking the same thing. Proof down, of course.
He said they just got the benchmark lineup 3 months ago. So, in my opinion, the benchmark bonded is a great buy. Oh, I don't know what it is there. Here it's like $19.99. That's a great bottle for $19.99.
I will say the foolproof for under 24, 25, 23.
Yeah, $25 foolproof's a great buy too. Yeah.
Honestly, I will say, like, I believe that my favorite like budget pours that like are really like bang for your buck are early times bottle and bond and benchmark foolproof. For that $25 range for a 125 proof bourbon or a 100 proof bottle and bond, solid. I got a JTS Brown the other day just to like compare and whatnot. We'll do some videos or something, I'm sure, but like early times and benchmark foolproof, real nice.
David, don't bother with the holiday soft red bottle and bond. I mean, it's not awful, but you're going to want to wait and get the Rick House. And in my opinion, you're going to want to wait and get the Rick House straight bourbon rather than the red wheat. The Ben Holiday, he's asking about the Ben Holiday. The Ben Holiday straight bourbon Rick House proof is really, really good for like a 6-7 year bourbon. It's fantastic. It's one of my favorite craft whiskeys, really. The soft red wheat Rickhouse is still pretty good, and I have both, but the straight bourbon is superior in my opinion by far. It's got a lot more depth of flavor.
As far as craft goes, it's like top tier. I have not tried all their stuff, but when we did that blind with Patrick in Utah, it definitely was like the best one.
Yeah, if you go look at some of our older videos, David, you'll find one on a craft bourbon blind we did where we invited Patrick in because he's like the craft king.
Craft King, coin it, Patrick, if you're listening. Craft King.
He brought a bunch of his favorite. He brought some of his favorite craft bottles, and then like as a surprise, I pulled out my favorite craft, which was the Holiday, and we blinded them. And the Holiday was definitely the best of the bunch. And it was the Rickhouse straight bourbon.
Right. I'm gonna go for a taste on this black top real quick. I don't want to spoil it for tomorrow's video if you guys are waiting for it, but I'll give a little.
Oh man. So good.
You know, as I always say, it's
pretty good. Pretty good. Yeah, Brad. On the holidays, you wait for the Rickhouse proof, and in my opinion, the straight bourbon is better than the soft red. It's just got a lot more depth of flavor. But there's a major difference between their bottled in bond and the Rickhouse. And I know that's always the case when you got like a higher proof, but like with theirs, I think it's especially noticeable between the bottled in bond and the Rickhouse. And I think it's because it's like a newer whiskey. You know it's not aged as long and stuff. You get a lot more flavor out of those Rickhouse proofs than you do out of those bottled in bonds. I mean, the bottled in bond's not bad. I'm not saying it's bad, Foolproof Hunter. I'm just saying the Rickhouse is it's just way better. It's got so much more flavor. I mean, it's just a ton more flavor. Their bottled in bond one, it really when they water it down, I think it's because they really are only like 6-year juice. They're not getting a blend of anything older. It's a huge difference in depth of flavor with that particular brand. And I've been to the distillery, and if you get a chance, go. The distillery is awesome. It's absolutely beautiful. The grounds around it are really beautiful. It's a great time. But yeah, the Rickhouse proof.
All right, so I'm gonna try to reveal what I have here for my day 5 of my advent calendar for my wife. So I don't know what it is. It has like a toasted pecan-y note to it. So here we are. We'll see.
Pecan-y note. It's nutty, huh? Elijah Craig?
Elijah Craig toasted.
He said nutty. That's my first thought.
It's like, it's got a nutty toasted note to it. I'm looking at myself, and I should have been like, oh, over here. Here it is. It had something, like some kind of funk to it. I'm like, it's got like a toasted something. But anyhow, it's the Elijah Craig toasted. If you can see it. If not, that's what it is. Anyhow.
Yeah, the Rickhouse proof isn't that much more than the bottled in bond, Steven. I can't remember. I don't know the exact difference here in Ohio. When you're saying 120, Jara, it's not $120. You must be talking about the proof. The Rickhouse is 120 proof. Yeah, it is. It's definitely higher proof, and that's what makes it so much more flavorful.
Let me tell you that Maker's toasted barrel proof rye definitely has a lot of.
I still got to open mine. The next time I have a get together, that's one of the bottles. I need to do my rye bottles. I have a bunch of rye bottles that aren't open. So, but I tell you guys, first Blue Label Old Forester the other day.
What's that?
Brad said I got my first Blue Label Old Forester the other day. I really enjoy it, as well as it's probably next in my Karen, since I became one when it Since I become one when it comes on out. I'm not sure the last part, but the Blue Label Old Foresters I love.
Good stuff.
I do prefer the black labels generally because I think they're more flavorful without any heat, but I still love the black labels. I love both. There's not a lot of Old Forester I don't like, honestly.
Black label. I have never seen a black label available in a store, so I've got
0.
Four of the blue labels now. I finished off one. of the bottom of the barrel. So Anna was like, "Hey,
That one was so good.
it's in that advent calendar." So I'm waiting to find it, but until then,
No.
she's like, "I killed it off." I'm like, "All right, well, until I find it, we'll see." But I'm still on the hunt for a black label, of course.
Jared wants to know what's the price on the Rickhouse Proof. You know, those Ben Holiday picks just dropped here in Ohio Saturday, right? So here in Ohio, Fred Minnick apparently somehow teamed up with OHLQ and did some Ben Holiday picks, and those picks dropped this past Saturday.
I don't trust it.
You don't trust Fred Minnick? Or you don't?
I don't trust it. I have not seen a pick on it, and I don't know. I feel like OHLQ picks have been very spotty. You know, I don't know.
I'm gonna go. I'm trying to look up now Ben Holiday because I don't know the price here off the top of my head.
Pick or anything on the interwebs or
So they do the 1 barrel bourbon, which is basically the Rickhouse Proof. It's 123. It's basically a single barrel Ben Holiday straight bourbon, and it is $79.99 here in Ohio for the pick. I think I paid a little bit more at the distillery for the Rickhouse version, but mine were not 750s. They were 900 milliliter bottles. They were bigger bottles.
Yeah,
it was like $90.
That's cool. It's like not a liter, but almost. like make me mind, you know.
Yeah. I don't know. I imagine those picks are going to be pretty good. I mean, the Ben Holiday Rickhouse stuff's good, so I imagine they're pretty decent picks. If I didn't already have the Rickhouse Proof, I probably would have grabbed one.
Yeah, David, I definitely think they do kind of like we'll just get these 6 barrels and like, what do you have left? Oh, these 6 are good. Okay, we'll send them over versus, all right, we'll try these 3 or 4 and they're really good and we'll send them over or whatever. But yeah.
Brad, so there's a difference in the distilleries that the water that distilleries use, or is it just a Brita filtered water? It's not filtered water. So the distilleries always pull from aquifers. So they're pulling like limestone, like in Kentucky and Tennessee. They talk about how their water really makes a difference. And they're pulling from aquifers that are limestone filtered. So no, they're not using like commercial filters. They're pulling, water from different sources. They're not pulling from like a river or a lake or something like that. They're pulling from underground aquifers.
Yeah. Maybe in like 1800, they were like, well, we pull from this limestone well and da-da-da, but nowadays the water isn't as important as the like distilling and the time and the aging.
It still makes a difference because of the pH and stuff like that. Yeah. Shauna says she agrees with you though. The OHLQ picks are spotty.
Yeah.
You know what? I've had some that aren't very good, but I've had some that are pretty good too. I've had some decent ones.
Yeah. I'd rather go to Kentucky and get some good picks there.
The Sagamore Spirits OHLQ pick I have is actually really good. So they're not all bad, but from what I have heard, OHLQ contacts distilleries and say, send us single barrels. They don't actually send someone to pick them. So the distillery just picks like a barrel and bottles it and sends it to OHLQ.
Which sucks,
so it's it could be good. It could be bad.
Awesome barrels. You know what I mean?
What's that?
It sucks because they can send us and just be like, hey.
Yeah, absolutely. Right.
You guys like bourbon? Go pick us some good barrels. We're like, yeah, we'll pick you some great barrels. Let's go. I don't know. It would be fun times. So.
Yeah, so that's OHLQ. That's like I said, that's what I've heard, that they just ask distilleries for a bottle. They're not necessarily sending people to actually pick the bottles.
Yeah,
which is unfortunate, but all right. Well, we went over Devin, so I think we can call it a night. I got to get ready to call a night, pull in, get a shower, all that stuff. So
I have to eat dinner because I am very hungry. So
Okay. Thanks everybody for joining us. Remember, if you weren't here earlier, I'll bring it up one more time. We have scheduled our first barrel pick. At the end of December, we'll be opening up for pre-purchase. Is that new riff? You have to be part of our Patreon to be available to purchase the barrel pick. You can be part of the free tier. It'll work its way down from top to bottom. But paid Patreon members, we will be doing a lottery to fill up those final 4 spots to join us on the pick. So, check out our Patreon and keep watching our videos. And remember, until next time, the best bourbon or whiskey
is the one you like the most, which is hopefully a new riff barrel pick that you also are part of picking. So
There you go.
love to meet you. Let's do it.
Yep. And we'll see you guys next week, and new video dropping tomorrow.
Yep. All right.
See you guys.